mga kababayan ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Mayang magiging sa silakanan, alam ng puso sa likid ko'y buhay. Lupang inilang, magkita ng pag-ibig sa mandudupin. Ikapasisigil sa nagkakatulong sa simulang sa langit ng babaw. Ay nilatang tulakaw sa pagkayang inaaman. Sa pagkawag ko'y ay panagiging. Ang ituloy na parang lakay lang ang kanyang magiging. Lumagang araw na maraming pagsingka. Ay nangit sa amin mo. Ang bigaya na pagkay marami. Ang pagkay ng ayos na isa ang mga mundo, naiingan ay marunong. Maglayo mula sa hamon ng tagal, ilamos ang pangalit na umalang. Pinangako sa puso ang paniniwala, ang ginhawang para sa kamangahan. Ang sambahay na lumpay, mula na bawis subuan buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay ating ang lagi kang mamahalin, walang pipigil sa damdamin, mga pangako''y tutuparin. Habang buhay kami sa'yo'y magbabantay, mananatili sa puso't isipan. Ang lahat tumuting ay nanapulis ng buhay, nasa piling ay kapal. Ang sambahay na lumpay, mula na bawis subuan buhay. Kapayapaan, katarungan, ay ating ang Ang programa ito ay public service sa kahanginan at trabaho lamang.
Okay, silipin natin ang check-in time natin sa umagang ito. Okay, 12 minutos. Okay, pasado po alas 7 na po mga kababayan na. Tamang-tama na. And then, ang kalendaryo natin sa araw na ito, araw ng Pabuenas, araw ng Lunes, okay, 8 po ng Enero 2023 sa umagang programa natin. Okay, nandito naman tayo sa Consolidated News natin. Okay, sa ADLSNTV, News Online, International po, no? Kasi mga local, marami naman local pwede pakinggan po ng makinig sa mga, lalo na po dito sa 98 Barangay ng Zamboanga City, ay maraming studio, may mga radio station dito. Lima ang radio station dito sa Zamboanga, no? So, walang problema. Tayo ay, kasi naka-engage tayo sa global peace, advocate ng global peace, international peace, world peace, kaya trabaho natin, no? Okay, ng mahabang panahon na po ang trabaho natin, no? Okay, diyan pa rin sa bakbakan po, sa programa Halo-Halo Special, Opinion, Balita at iba pa. Pagkadamay po sa bisyo publiko tinig ng mamamayan, para sa mga local natin. Okay, and then sumbungan ng mamamayan. Okay, sa local, no? Okay, may dagdag naman po ay nadali po ang katulad na natin nagtatrabaho sa profession ito mga kababayan, no? Okay, profession natin ay maghawak ng microphone. Ayan. So, nadali po ang anak ng veterano, magaling na correspondence po si Wild Dahdu. Okay, si Wild Dahdu, senior correspondent po ng Al Jazeera Arabic and Al Jazeera English po, diyan po nakabase. Okay, sa Palestine, no, sa Gaza. Ayan. Okay, nadali po ang anak niya si Hamja Dahdu mga kahapon, no? Okay, sa pagkuha po ng document. Okay, mga damages po diyan po sa Gaza Strip mismo mga kababayan, no? Pinunpirya po ng Israeli bombardment. Pumagitan po ng airstrike. Okay, nadali po ang bata ito mga kababayan, no? Okay. Itong anak po ni Wael Dahdu, isang tagapamahayag po mga suki mga so may dagdag naman. Okay, isang kasama niya, worker, at saka si Hamja Dahdu, okay, nadali po dyan sa mismo po sa loob ng Gaza Strip mga kababayan, no? Okay, ang masasabi ko na lang kay Hamja, iyak nang iyak ang tatay niya, no? Can you imagine, namatay ang asawa, anak, apo, okay, nung unang atake sa bahay niya, no? Mabuti siya nakaligtas. Okay, itong si Dahdu mga kababayan, no? And kahapon naman ang anak niya po, okay, nag-practice. Sana ay, kung wala na siya yung pumalit po si Hamja Dahdu, no? At saka isang kasama po mga kababayan. Malungkot na balita, no? Ako malungkot ako pag mga trabaho, katulad ng trabaho ko ito, katulad ng trabaho natin, may mga nadali po ang mga suki, no? So, ang pag-cover po dyan sa Gaza Strip, okay, napaka-dangerous po sa media practitioner, no? Ayan. So, yan po ang nangyayari, okay, kay Hamja Dahdu at saka kasama niya, no? Suppose magkuha ng documentation o documentary po dyan po sa area na yan, no? Mag-picture and then napunpiriya po, natamaan po ng airstrike, okay, ng Israeli uh, yung air power mga suki, no? So, yan na, inulit ko. Okay, innalillahi, pabaon sa kanya mga kababayan kasi lahat tayo papunta roon. Okay, innalillahi wa inna ilaihi rajiun, no? Okay, sa pamilya Dahdu, dyan po sa Israel. Dyan po sa Palestine, mga kababayan. Napakalungkot balita, no? Okay, ito ang susunod na kuan natin, no? Uh, ito ay nangyari po sa Beirut, Lebanon po, itong press con. Pakinggan natin po ang spokesman ng mga resistant mga kababayan. Napakaraming media po mag-cover doon mga suki, no? Okay. Okay, so ayan po mga suki, no? Okay, kagandahan ito ng Hamas na matay mga leader nila may kapalit kagad mga suki, no? Okay, yon po ang structure ng structure organization po ng Hamas organization, no? Mamatay ang isa, may kapalit na hawak mga suki, no? So, walang katapusan po ang ibig sabihin po ang digmaan, no? No ending. Forever digmaan po mga kababayan. Ganon ang structure ng organization. Hindi tayo ibig sabihin na ako, hindi tayo pabor na mga ganitong violence man. Kasi alam nyo naman ang background ko, talagang anti-violence. Pero dahil sa balita, para sa kaalaman ng madla, para sa kaalaman ng publiko, dapat alam natin na. Okay, as transparent, as usual po ang trabaho natin na. Okay, walang kinikilingan, walang kinakampihan po mga kababayan. Okay, hindi tayo magkampi, no? O, naalala ko po si Mike Enriquez, no? Okay. Okay, ito po, hindi ko alam kung sino pangalan nito, no? Basta leader po. Ay nakalagay dito, Hamas official. Okay? No negotiation as long as Israel attack continues. Hindi po papayag mag-negotiate itong mga leader po ng Hamas, no? So, walang kapayapaan. Okay, daming microphone. Okay, puro mga malalaking international news ang kaharap ito mga kababayan, no? Sa Beirut, Lebanon ito. Pakinggan natin, na? Kayo na po makinig. May translator naman. Okay, itong press conference, no? Okay, parehas tayo makinig. Okay. Mahaba ito, pero wala problema mahaba, no? Public service ito. Ayan.
المؤقتة أبلغنا كل الأطراف بموقف واضح ومحدد أنه لا تفاوض حول قضية الأسرى قبل وقف العدوان. هذا الموقف أبلغ لكل الأطراف وليس هناك ما يمكن إضافته في هذا الجانب. التركيز الآن هو وقف هذا العدوان، لا سيما أن عدونا بات يدرك أنه غير قادر على تحقيق أي من الأهداف التي أعلنها.
Okay, mga suki mga kababayan, no? Okay, iulit natin ito, no? Okay? Sana yun.
Osama Hamdan, who's a senior member of the political bureau of Hamas. Mr. Hamdan, thank you so much indeed for speaking to us on TRT World. It's going to be important for our viewers to understand a lot of what your group is going through and how you are resisting the Israeli attacks. Can we go back to October the 7th? Could you explain to us why Hamas attacked Israel on that day?
I have to say that it was not an attack as it's defined or expected. It was a military operation against the Israeli army, and that was for political reasons. Everyone realized that with Netanyahu government, they were taking over the Palestinian lands in West Bank, Judaizing Jerusalem, attacking Al-Aqsa Mosque, talking clearly and frankly about demolishing the Palestinian cause, not recognizing any Palestinian rights. That military operation was supposed, and it did that, to bring back the Palestinian cause as a liberation, freedom cause for the people of Palestine against the occupation. Everyone realized that now. Regardless to the Israeli reaction, everyone's talking now about the Palestinian cause as a freedom and liberation Palestinian cause. That was the political target for this military operation, and I believe it was achieved on the political level. On the military level, it shows everyone that this army couldn't handle any fight with the militants. It's just a good army killing the women and children, destroying the civilian houses, hospitals, and schools. It shows everyone the clear and the right face of Israel as not only.
Okay, pakilala lang natin, no, si Osama Hamdan, spokesman na ata ito ng ng Hamas militant, mga kababayan, no? Okay, mag-disclaimer tayo, hindi tayo magparinig, ibig sabihin kakampi nila tayo, no? Kakampi po ang studio, hindi. Pero sa ngalan po ng matagal na pag-advokasyan nating kapayapaan, yun po ang purpose natin, kaya pinaparinig natin ito, no? Okay, sa Israeli din, hindi tayo kakampi. Okay, tayo ay talagang independent tagapamayag, mga kababayan, no? So, pakinggan natin si Osama Hamdan. Okay, nirelease ito ng TRT. Okay, World Network, mga kababayan, no? Pakinggan natin.
Only a savage occupation, but also a Nazist occupation. It reminds everyone of what had happened in the last century during the period of the Nazists in Europe.
If that was indeed Hamas's aim, to bring the Palestinian cause right to the forefront of international dialogue, you're correct. It succeeded. There are countries that had maybe parked the two-state solution in the future of Palestinians somewhere in the background of their activities, but now the whole world is talking about it. Let's go to the politics a little bit later, if you don't mind, and just look at the situation from the point of view, as you say, the military aims of that October the 7th event, and also the humanitarian. Did you foresee the consequences of what happened on October the 7th when Hamas entered Israeli territory? Did you think what's happening now would be Israel's response to this degree?
Well, I have to say there is no Israeli territories. It's a Palestinian occupied land. It doesn't mean if it was occupied 75 years ago that it became an Israeli territory. It is an occupied land, and it is Palestine. And I have to remind everyone that Balfour Declaration in 1917 had said in a clear words that the government of Great Britain will establish an Israeli national state for the Jews on the Palestinian lands. On the Palestinian lands, he said that in clear words. So it was Palestine at that time, and this is still Palestine, and will be Palestine forever. This is the first point. The second point, I have to say also that even in the best periods of the peace process, the Palestinians were killed by the Israeli troops and the Israeli army and settlers. Let's remind everyone of a close issue. In 2022, in West Bank, the Palestinian Authority has a full and complete security arrangements with Israel. And even though there was 500 Palestinians who were killed in West Bank, Hamas was not operating, there was no military operations there, and the Palestinians were killed. In 2023, before the 7th of October, ministers in the Israeli cabinet called for demolishing cities and villages in West Bank like Huwara. They invaded Tumasaiya and they've killed people there. They burned all the houses and the cars. And no one talks about that. So the Palestinians were being killed everywhere, every time in the Palestinian occupied territories. That means you have two options. Either you can do nothing and you will be killed by the Israelis, or to resist and they will kill you at the same time, but you will also resist them and you will show everyone that this cause is a real cause. It belongs for a nation called Palestinian people, and this land is a Palestinian land occupied by the Israelis, and this will make the international community moves forward instead of just watching the Israelis. And that happened too. Well, you can't blame the Palestinians. The third point, you can't blame the Palestinians for being killed by the Israelis. You have to start blaming the Israelis. You have to start talking about how the Israelis are killing the Palestinians, the civilians, destroying the infrastructure of the civilian community, destroying the houses, the schools, the mosques, churches, and hospitals. And instead of blaming the Palestinians for trying to defend themselves, start talking about how the Israelis are a very savage and Nazist occupation, and instead of just blaming the victim for trying to protect itself, for trying to protect your own people and your own cause.
The Israelis say that there is a way for those attacks to end, that all hostages being kept inside Gaza who were taken on October the 7th should be released. Is that not acceptable to you? Because that, the Israelis say, would stop the attacks.
What is the way to end the occupation? This is the big question. This is the main question. How to make an end for the occupation. It's not an issue to release or not to release. It's a minor issue, of course, compared to the main issue. The main issue is what and how can we make an end for the occupation? Are they ready to make an end for their occupation to Palestine? Are they ready to stop their attacks against the West Bank, Jerusalem, and Al-Aqsa Mosque? Are they ready to stop attacking the Palestinians and killing them? This is the main question that's supposed to be asked, whether they are ready to make an end for the occupation or not. And this is a big question for the international community. Are they supposed to work, to make an end for the occupation, or just they will keep watching and talking about humanitarian situation instead of starting from the main problem, from the key issue, the occupation, how we can make an end for this occupation?
Is it not the responsibility of both the leadership of Israel and the leadership of Hamas to address this step by step? Because what you seem to be suggesting is that you want some sort of long-term peace plan to be agreed before you release hostages. But should it not be step by step? First of all, stop the fighting, get Palestinian prisoners out of Israeli jails, release the hostages that are being held in Gaza, and move from there. Surely your main priority right now, is it not to protect the people of Gaza from these attacks?
Well, this is also our own question. We are doing our best to protect the people in Gaza from the Israeli attacks, but the one who's supporting the attack against the Palestinians is any country supporting Israel. And the main country in this situation is the United States. They are providing them with weapons, they are providing them with political support, with economical support to continue what they are doing. And talking about step by step, I have to mention that there was a peace process. And also, it was signed 1993. And they've talked about step by step, and they've said there will be a Palestinian state in 5 years, step by step. And this step by step leads us to the situation right now. It destroyed all the Palestinian rights. In fact, they undermined the possibility of having a Palestinian, achieving a Palestinian state. They are taking over 60% of West Bank by their new settlements. They are Judaizing Jerusalem. They are taking over part of Al-Aqsa Mosque, and they are putting Gaza under the siege, and they are talking about the Palestinians as an Arabs, not even as a nation. They have rights. So step by step, it shows everyone that you can't trust Israel. They have no legitimacy. You can't trust any agreement with the Israelis. If we want to talk about the situation, there is an international resolutions in the Security Council. Go and implement those resolutions instead of talking about step by step. Implement them. There is no need to talk about step by step by implementing those international resolutions. And when it came to this point, I think there will be a start of creating a kind of trust among the Palestinians that there is someone trying to help and creating a real solution.
I will ask you about the potential for future peace in a moment, if you don't mind. But just to return to the fighting, I wanted to get your thoughts. What has the Hamas, the political leadership, you included, heard from your armed wing, the Al-Qassam brigades, who are there resisting the Israeli soldiers inside Gaza? How much longer do you think they can resist the Israeli army?
Well, I'm not trying to talk about hopes. I will talk about facts. Everyone realized that what is happening, the resistance in Gaza, is still as strong as it was in the first day. And according to the letters from the brothers in Al-Qassam brigades, they are talking about their capability to continue that for the long it needs. And I can't say more than this, but I trust when they say that, I trust that they can do that. And even the Israelis understand that they can still do that. This is why they pulled out, for example, the Golani Brigade, because they understand that this special forces couldn't handle the fight against Al-Qassam. 1/4 of this brigade was killed or badly injured by the resistance, and everyone watched how the tanks were bombed by Al-Qassam troops. No one can deny how powerful the occupation army, the Israeli army, but at the same time, everyone knows now that the resistance will not give up.
Okay, just to help our viewers, the Golani Brigade is that elite unit of the Israeli army which has taken part in every war that Israel has waged against Arab states, and you're quite right, they are in the process of withdrawing. Okay, let's talk peace. What can you tell us about the process that is happening in Egypt, and where does Hamas sit in terms of those potential deals that could be done? We know that members of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad are also in Egypt. Many people are thinking that if they're there also, and you're talking in Egypt, then there may be some sort of deal in the making.
Well, I can say that it's still talks. We are not close. It seems to me that we are not close to a deal, not because of the Palestinian position, sorry, but because of the Israeli position. We have informed the Egyptians clearly that we are grateful for what they are doing, but we have to start from the initial point, the complete stop of the Israeli attack against Gaza. And we will not accept any kind of arrangements which may keep the Israelis attacking Gaza at the same time. If we start from this point, we can talk about a series of actions which can lead to a solution. That's what I can say, and I believe our brothers in Islamic Jihad, they have the same position, and it is a national Palestinian position, because everyone knows what is happening in Gaza will not be a matter of discussion on the basis of the Israeli needs. It must start from the Palestinian rights, and if we started from this point, I think we can reach a good point of arrangement. Otherwise, this will create more problems rather than solving the problem itself.
Could you not have accepted the Israeli proposal to release some hostages for some Palestinians held in Israeli jails? Because you said, no, all of them have to be released, and then we will release all the hostages that are held in Gaza. If you're demanding so much so quickly, can you not reduce your demand about how many people will be released from Israeli jails?
Well, we have declared our position and informed all the mediators, including our brothers in Egypt and Qatar, that we will not accept the same Israeli arrangements as it was suggested. We have tried the short time pauses. It didn't work. The Israelis provoked the Palestinian resistance every time. And it seems to us that Israel is not willing to make an end for the Israeli attack without a complete arrangement. So we are clear in this position, and we have informed everyone who's in charge about this position.
In terms of the future, what much of the world is watching and hearing is the Americans and the Israelis believing that they are going to make the decision about how Gaza is governed in the future. And both of those parties, and clearly we understand, Mr. Hamdan, that the Americans are protecting the Israelis on the international stage. But both of those countries are saying that your group, Hamas, can't be involved in the future governance of Gaza. Whatever happens now, however long this lasts, you and I know that life will go on. That Gaza eventually will have to find some kind of balance to live either as a part of a two-state solution or currently as, let's say, occupied territory living next to the state of Israel. But the question is, for the future governance of Gaza, can you, Hamas, see yourself working with, for example, the Palestinian Authority?
Well, we have a clear position and step.
Okay, basahin ko muna ang oras. Okay, anong oras na? Okay, ano na ito? Okay, 44 minutos. Pasado na po alas 7 ang programa natin, malapit na alas 8, no? Okay, kasalukuyan po ang oras natin, no? Okay. Ayan. I-continue lang natin ito, ang itong mga paliwanag po ng tagapagbalita, no? Ayan.
And we have declared from the first day that the future of the Palestinians, including Gaza, is supposed to be determined by the Palestinians. The Palestinians who can decide about their future without any involvement of the Americans and the Israelis. And if any Palestinian believes that he can be the leader of the Palestinians by the support of the Israelis or the Americans, he puts himself in a position as a betrayer for his own people. So our suggestion and our belief every time that the leadership is supposed to be elected by the Palestinian people themselves. And on those bases, we will respect the elected leadership, whoever he was. But it must be elected by the Palestinian people in a transparent and fair elections. This had happened in 2006, and we can also handle such elections in the future. And we have to be sure also that this is supposed to be the international position, to respect the Palestinian elections, to respect the Palestinian people's choice, to respect the elected Palestinian leadership.
Osama Hamdan, thank you very much indeed for your time, sir. We very much appreciate it.
Okay, mga kababayan, mag-break muna ako and then balikan po natin ng ibang balita, mga suki, mga kababayan, no? Grabe. So, ikaw ba naman ay isang, isang guardian. Okay, tapos diktahan ka lang kung sino ilagay ng, ilagay ng pinuno dyan, no? Okay. Hindi ka ata papayag, no? Kaya tuloy-tuloy ang digmaan nito. Okay, kasi hindi po patas ang batas, mga suki, no? Okay, so ayan. So mag-break muna ako. Okay, and then yung ibang balita naman, no? Okay. Kahit mag-overtime tayo. Ayan. Okay, sabi po ni Hamdan, okay, no negotiation as long as Israel attack ang kanilang bansa, mga suki, no? Okay. So, okay, pagpatuloy natin ito.
Supported that regime in a barbaric fashion. This will be a condemnation on this regime and all those who kept silent, on all those who supported that regime against our people. We pray to Allah the Almighty to accept and bless the souls of the martyrs and to heal those injured, and we greet and salute our people who are standing fast, who have not left their home, who are standing fast on their land, denying and rejecting all plans of displacement as plotted by the Zionists and marketed by the U.S. Secretary of State, the Jew, as he claims. We salute Al-Qassam brigades and the brigades of all the Palestinian resistance in Gaza and the West Bank, who are writing the annals of an epic victory of our people, defending our people's rights, defending our people's sacred sites and land. And in every moment they are making the enemy sustain injuries and losses and making Gaza a cemetery for such an aggressor. And we support our youth who are revolting in the West Bank, who are engaging with the forces of the occupation. We salute the supporters of our people in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Yemen, and in Iraq. And today I commence my word of the plans of the Nazi occupation, the horrible massacres of the occupation against our unarmed civilians.
Ano pagkaintindi nyo? Ibig sabihin, mga international fighter ng mga bansa binanggit ito, ibig sabihin pumasok sa, okay, mag-volunteer po sa loob ng ibig sabihin yon. Okay? Yung sinabi po ni Hamdan, ibig sabihin may mga international forces, mga fighter, mag-rescue sa kanila. Okay, yan ang pagkaintindi ko. Okay, sige po mga kababayan, no? So, malala itong problema, mga suki, no? Okay, hindi ibig sabihin madali yan. 6 na buwan na, no? 6 na ba? 60 days. Ano bang? 3 na buwan, mga suki, no? 60 days na. Ang 3 buwan nata sinabi sa latest, no? Sa latest report. Mahigit na 3 buwan. Okay, sinabi madalian lang, pero yung pala ay mahabang gera po mga suki, no? Okay. So wala, bankrupt po ang Israel mga suki sa gera ito, no? Okay, kahit paano karami ng pera nila pati sa Amerika, bankrupt sila sa gera ito mga suki, no? Okay, mabawasan kanilang resources. Kahit pa ilang bilyon na ang pera nila pang gastos dito sa gera, no? Okay. Maubos ang pera nila sa bakbakan ito. Wala ito. Kaya nag-declare sila na no negotiation, no? Okay? As long as Israeli attack ang kanilang bansa, mga suki. Okay, walang negotiation. Ayan. Di wala na. Ang hostage ang mga hostages hawak nila. Ilan pa ba yung hostages? 139? Di, mabubulok na lang doon po mga suki magsakripisyo. Ayan. Walang katapusan. Okay, ilang bang hostage? Mahigit pa 100 yun, no? Okay, mahigit 100 pa. 129 po hawak ng mga captors, mga kababayan, no? So, kawawa po yung mga hostages. Okay, mabubulok po sa, okay, katagal ng gera mga suki, no? So, sige na. Ipagpatuloy natin.
Million people and the bombardment that razed entire neighborhoods to the ground since the aggression on Gaza, destroying houses, infrastructure, including hospitals and schools that and even international institutions with international flags. This is just to hide the numbers of their losses, trying to hide the hits sustained by the enemy from Al-Qassam brigades. This heroism by our people this massacre is under the sponsor.
Okay, kung meron division po, yung mga nalalates na kuha natin, no? Kung maraming division po ang armed forces po, ang IDF po ng Israel, ganon din karami po ng okay, division po ng kalaban nila, no? Okay. May mga division din mga suki. Kung saan lugar ay i-atake sila, meron po ang agpang sa kanila, no? Meron sila kalaban. Pupunta sa north, pupunta sa south, pupunta sa west bank, may kalaban po ang IDF mga suki, no? Sa ground. Okay, nakikita naman nyo sa footage po ng mga ground. Pag tinamaan po ang mga tangke, wala. Isang bala lang po mga kababayan ng anti-tank gamit po mga kahit gabi. Okay, pag pinupunteriya, tama talaga mga suki mga kababayan, no? Kaya maraming, kahit hindi aminin ng Israel po mga kababayan, talagang maraming nasawi. Okay, sa kanilang sundalo mga suki, no? Ang pinupunteriya po ng mga hindi civilian, no? Ang pinupunteriya po ng mga fighter, itong mga resistant, tangki, tao, lahat po ng yung war materials po ng Israel mga suki, no? Nakikita mo sa ano? Okay, sa independent na hindi tayo kumuha sa mga kampi sa kanila, no? Yung mga independent po, okay, news, yun ang pinapakita natin, no? Okay, inalam natin po mga suki, no? Kung makita nyo lang ang mga footage po na nangyari, okay, actual footage po nangyari, maraming na damage po ng itong Israeli war materials mga kababayan, no? Yung mga armament nila. Pag meron tangke, may tao. Di patay. Ayan po mga suki ang ibabalita natin ng tama ng tunay po, hindi sinungaling mga kababayan, no? Pakinggan natin ito.
Of American government using ammunition and smart ammunition supplied by the US to this regime. and it's continuously supplied to Israel, which makes the American administration and the President Biden the responsibility of such massacres, and defies any claim that this administration or this country and their claim that they sponsor democracy and human rights. These Nazi massacres are not limited to the Gaza Strip. They continue to be perpetrated across all the cities of the West Bank and its camps, and in Jerusalem as well. This enemy is waging a barbaric, brutal war against our people across all the occupied lands. These massacres will not break our will, and such massacres will not allow the Nazi occupation to meet their objectives. These people, our people who are writing the annals of an epic and a legendary battle, telling the story of a hero people defending their land and their sacred lands. Despite all the American claims, there are no safe zones in Gaza Strip. As the occupation army is claiming, the occupation has transformed all the lands of Gaza into an open war zone for their war machine, targeting men, women, and every living, moving thing. And yesterday was for the 67th anniversary of Khan Yunis massacre that was committed in 1956, which was during the aggression launched by Israel, France, and the UK. France, that is teaching us lessons about freedom. And on that year, 520 martyrs were killed. And today, this Nazi enemy is reliving the same massacre against our unarmed civilians, the children and grandchildren of those people who were killed in the earlier massacre. This enemy that knows nothing but the language of massacres and displacing people or annihilation of the entire people. However, this objective did not materialize and will not be achieved, as our enemy has failed in rooting us out from our land as they promised. Here we reiterate our warning from all attempts and all plots that are in sync with this Israeli plot to displace our people from the Gaza Strip under whatever pretext. These all are plots and Zionist plots and American plots on the account of the blood of our people, and anyone who's involved in such plots and plans, no matter how good intentions they say, they are partners in such a crime of genocide and displacement. And here very confidently we say that the goals of Netanyahu and his army are unattainable. And what Netanyahu is doing is just a revenge and a thirst for blood. This is not a sign of victory, but rather a sign of defeat and the fall of his government, and to be convicted and persecuted as a war criminal. The real objective of Netanyahu and his military is to eliminate the Palestinian people and kill the issue and kill the cause, and to decide this conflict. And this is an impossibility. And if there is any other Satan or any evil other than him, after 60 days of war, Netanyahu and his military couldn't achieve a single military nor political victory. It's a dream that will never come true to him nor to his military. No matter how long the war would last, we are well prepared. Over 75 years, this enemy has never claimed victory against our people. Our people have always been in resisting, and therefore they can never win against Hamas, and they can never claim victory against our Palestinian people. And here I would like to confirm that Netanyahu and his war staff are sinking deeper and deeper in the swamp of Gaza. They all couldn't liberate a single captive except according to our terms. And here we reiterate that there is no negotiation, no swap without ceasing and stopping the aggression against our people and against Gaza. And here we hold Netanyahu for responsibility for the lives of the Israeli and Zionist captives, as he have foiled and hindered the swap deal as he resumed his attack against.
Okay. Come on, kain tayo ng saging. Come on. Ayan po mga saging, oh.
Gaza, they are under the threat of being killed by the bombardments of Netanyahu's war machine. And it now has become clear to us that Netanyahu doesn't care about these captives, doesn't care about their families, and he doesn't care about their lives. We would like to reiterate to the Nazi occupation government that the Al-Aqsa Mosque will continue to remain a purely Islamic mosque, and they will never have sovereignty over that mosque. And we say to the people of the temple, that extreme group, to violate and desecrate Al-Aqsa Mosque, we tell them that Al-Aqsa flood will not stop and will continue until you are defeated and swept away from our land, from our sacred sites. As to the continued humanitarian suffering, the occupation didn't suffice with inhuman massacres. Our enemy continues to perpetrate the crime of starvation against more than 2 million Palestinians by their siege and not allowing humanitarian aid. Those who didn't die by bombardments are dying because of starvation, and anyone who hinders the access of aid into Gaza is a partner in such a crime against our people and shall bear the responsibility of the repercussions of such a crime. Not allowing all requirements for basic human life, including water wells, bakeries, hospitals, electricity generators, and shelters. We are warning that the number of martyrs will increase due to thirst and famine, which is warning of a humanitarian catastrophe. Therefore, we call upon the Arab and Muslim nations to bear their humanitarian and ethical responsibilities. It's the right of our people to live a free and dignified life without siege, without bombardment, without aggression, and without threat. No Israeli will feel safe if our people didn't enjoy the same. It's an increasing number of massacres against civilians, with the increased number of killed and injured among the displaced in shelter zones. We reiterate our call to the following. We call upon the UNRWA and the WHO to assume their humanitarian and ethical responsibilities to continue supplying our people in Gaza with the humanitarian.
Okay, overtime na ang public service natin, no? Okay, public service ito. Wala itong ibang purpose tayo public service. Okay? Sa international community, no? Okay.
Aid and not to cede to the demands and terms and conditions of the occupation. Actually, we can't understand the position of UNRWA responding and heeding the demands of the occupation against their mandate. We also call upon international humanitarian and medical organizations to intensify their access to all areas of Gaza and aid the residents of Gaza with all humanitarian aid. We call also upon all Arab and Muslim countries to move seriously and immediately to break such a siege against Gaza and to open humanitarian corridors and to open all hospitals across all Gaza with all medical disciplines and supply the Gaza Strip with the fuel, medicine, water, and food. Third, in this long series of lies of the Israelis and the Americans, the American administration, with the statements of their officials, continues to adopt the Zionist narrative without verifying or vetting any of such information. Latest is the statement of the National Security Advisor of the United States that the occupation's army does not target civilians in Gaza. This is a lie, a blatant lie. It's more than 70% of 16,000 martyrs are women and children, and definitely in their eyes they are not civilians. You can expect what would be the advice and the counsel of such national security advisor, and what would the decisions of such administration would look like based on his advice. The claims and the lies of the Zionists, claiming that some of their women have been raped. Actually, this is to cover and underscore the human treatment of our fighters with these individuals. Such scenes have disturbed the Nazi regime. They have tried desperately to dehumanize our people. We say that these false claims are in their sick imagination of extreme Zionist individuals that allows the Zionist soldiers to rape the women of others, and this is supported by this individual who's.
Can you imagine mga babaeng Palestina? Okay, talagang okay, kasuklaman pa ba mga i-rape mga suki mga kababayan, no? Okay, mga babaeng okay, inside Gaza, kung saan-saan po ay nakatikim po ng rape mga suki. Ayon po rito sa press con nito mga kababayan, no? Okay, rape. Ayan. Okay, tama po sinabi ni Recep Tayyip Erdogan, no? Ayan. So, mga babae ng Palestina, okay, nakatikim po ng rape mga kababayan, no? Okay, masaklap. Okay. Sige.
The military rabbi in the Israeli Defense Forces who allowed and permitted sanction to the soldiers to rape non-Jew women, saying that when we are intended, the Torah has allowed us to satisfy the soldiers' needs for women, and it is permissible to engage in sexual activity with women during war against their will. And this is another rabbi, Rayon Linovin, talks about permitting, but rather the need to kill children in the war.
Because the ideology that child will grow up with is even worse than the ideology of his father. That's the reason why the Torah.
Okay, yung rabbi, tinatawag nila yung, di ba, parang kopya niya hindi malaglag-laglag po sa ulo, maliit lang, hindi katulad ng kopya po ng mga Muslim ay malalaki. Hindi po, okay, ganito po ang kopya natin, no? Okay, ang kopya natin ng mga Muslim, ganito po, suotin ko, no? Ayan. Yan po ang kopya ng Muslim. Sa kanila, maliit lang. Yung mga rabay, mga suki, ganun. Oh, sa atin malaki, sa kanila po ay doon lang sa maliliit po itong mga rabay tinatawag nila, no? Rabbi ang expression, rabay. Okay, sa atin malaking kopya po mga suki, no? Okay, ginamit ko ito pag mga tahajud ko. Itong ginagamit ko mga suki ang kopya mga ganito, no? So malaki sa atin. So ang rabay, hindi maliit po mga suki, no? Ang gamit nila. So yan po ay kinokondem po ni Hamdan, no? Okay, ni Osama Hamdan, spokesman. Ay na-allow po ng kanilang religion. Okay, pagsamantalaan po mga babae Palestina, mga kababayan, no? So base ito sa sinasabi po ni Osama Hamdan po mga kababayan, no? Okay, ayon po sa paliwanag niya rito sa press con ito, no? Daming media po ng cover ito, no? Ayan.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 16, says, rules of war. Do not allow anyone to remain alive. Nothing. No mercy. Furthermore,
okay, gore war. Talagang sobra po. Okay, sobra sa mga Nazi ni Hitler. Okay, modern Hitler ito mga suki, itong sinabi po ni Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Okay, mayaman na Hitler po itong si Netanyahu mga kababayan, no? Ayan. Sa gore, inhuman lahat na po mga kababayan na hindi po katanggap-tanggap ang ginawa nila sa mga Palestino mga kababayan, no? Okay. Sige.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse 19. Completely erase any memory of Amalek, which means men, women, and children, the Torah says, do not have the right to exist.
These are the doctrine of their rabbis and their clergymen. And here I ask, when Blinken, the Secretary of State who identifies himself as a Jew, does he listen to such words when he deals with the Palestinian issue, permitting the killing of children and allowing the rape of women? As the rabbi of the Zionist army breaches, we call upon all media outlets all around the world to continue covering the suffering of our people in Gaza Strip and the heinous crimes perpetrated against them, which expresses the true nature of this Zionist entity, and to work with all professionality and objectivity to reveal the lies of the Zionist discourse. And such an act and such bias to the Zionist discourse constitutes a partnership in this crime. Some Western media outlets continue to perpetrate lies, serves only the agendas of the occupation, will not save them from prosecution before the law. We call them to rectify their mistakes and to retract such an approach that would question their accountability and can hold them accountable legally. In conclusion, we reiterate our call to the people of our and Muslim nations to escalate all sorts of demonstrations and vigils across all plazas in rejection of the occupation's war against our people and to uncover their crimes. And I would like to confirm here that this movement, in addition to the action of the resistance in the field and our people standing fast on their land, this will limit the time window of this aggression. We also would like to appreciate the efforts by the countries that have received our injured citizens to support them, and we welcome all support to continue our resistance on our land and foil all attempts for displacement. The systematic violations and heinous crimes perpetrated against our prisoners in the prisons of the occupation. We demand on all humanitarian organizations and international organizations to exert pressure on the occupation to allow visitation to such prisoners and deny Ben Gvir's enjoyment and pleasuring himself visiting the prisons simply to please himself by watching them suffer. We would like to hail and salute the Al-Azhar position and announcing granting Palestinian students scholarships to study at Al-Azhar University, and we call upon Al-Azhar Imam to lead a movement of scholars across the entire nation to break the siege against Gaza and allow humanitarian aid across the Rafah crossing. And we call upon the scholars to adopt such an idea and make it a reality on the ground, following the hadith of the Prophet. No Muslim can sleep with his stomach full while his neighbor is starving. In conclusion, we pray Allah the Almighty to heal the injured. This is a jihad, it's either victory or martyrdom, and thank you very much. If you have any questions. You have announced from Lebanon general conscription. Some people describe this a breach of Lebanon's sovereignty, and many voices call for Hezbollah not to be involved in this war. What we hope for, before any comment, it's good that you asked this question, and I would like not to be involved in the Lebanese internal affairs. Our policy is clear in this regard. We have maintained such a policy, and we will continue to maintain such policy. Our relations with Lebanon is with all components of the Lebanese structure, political and social. What we have called for is a cultural, ideological, to attract the Palestinian youth rather than being misled by other ideologies that is not in sync with our cause against the occupation. Our people who have been displaced from their land 75 years ago, and who have carried this cause for 75 years, leading the resistance, we will not accept that our youth and our children be ideologized in other directions. And in light of the heroic resistance of our people, we have called to attract such people culturally, socially, and politically, that aims to engage our youth, our young, in a national project to meet our dreams and our aspirations for liberation and return to the land. This is the call, and I hope no one would exaggerate this. We are confirming it again in this manner. Karim Khan's visit to Israel of the International Criminal Court, and what about the prisoner swap? As for exchange of prisoners, I have said We will not talk about a swab without stopping the war and the aggression against Gaza. Our partners, they have exerted efforts, but the occupation has foiled such a deal. Today, Netanyahu just hit the last nail in this deal. He said Netanyahu claimed or announced that not all the prisoners would be able to come back. Talking about the prisoners afterwards, we hope that this will stop. We have our prisoners in the occupations prisons. If you want to talk about your captives, let's talk about prisoners. The question about Karim Khan, it's unfortunate his statement talking about only the Israeli side, talking about some moral support to the families of the Palestinian prisoners. It doesn't call for releasing them, doesn't take a decisive stand before the crime that is taking place before his eyes, talking about something imaginary, lie and untrue claims, and he talks only about what happened on the 7th of October, forgetting what happened since 7th of October until now. I believe his credibility is undermined and draws a question mark whether the court is playing a political role supporting the occupation rather than a legal role that criminalizes crimes, war crimes, and crimes against humanity. A threat of assassination. First of all, this is very rude. If a prime minister of a particular country announces that they will commit terrorist acts in other countries, imagine another head of state talking in such a manner. What kind of a campaign? You can imagine the kind of campaign that will be waged against them. That's why there is a question to be asked to the entire world. Why everyone is shamefully silent when if the Israeli prime minister is tasking the relevant agency to commit crimes in other countries? The other issue is that such threats will not change our political positions, will not influence our decisions, will not push us to retreat. We are holding fast and strongly with our rights to continue our resistance. Operations of our resistance will continue until we achieve our national goals and objectives. This battle is not the battle of Hamas. This is a battle of the Palestinian people for the sake of Gaza, Jerusalem, Gaza, and the West Bank, and for the return of the refugees back to Palestine. Personally speaking, about any Hamas leader, all Hamas leaders are potential martyrs. However, Hamas project is a project of victory, and we have written the annals of such a story that will end in Jerusalem. If Netanyahu is threatening, some of these leaders will walk into the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Does Al-Qassam brigades have 17 Israeli soldiers? We will not talk about the numbers of soldiers. This is something of Al-Qassam brigade's leaderships. They can talk in details about this, and it's not the right time yet to talk about this. Thank you.
Yan po ang katapusan
The
ng
enemy has failed to root us out from our land. The goals of Netanyahu and his army are unobtainable. What we are seeing is simply bloodlust. The words there of Osama Hamdan, a senior member of Hamas, speaking at that press conference in Beirut. He went on to say, after 60 days of war, Netanyahu and his military have failed to achieve a single military or political goal.
Ayan. So, yan po ang kompleto. Okay, pinarinig natin po sa mga nag-monitor po ng itong bakbakan mga suki, no? So, kung pakinggan mo ng kabila sa kanilang mga propaganda, wala na. Tapos na po mga kababayan ng Hamas. Pero narinig mo. Okay? Tuloy-tuloy po ang pagdepensa. Okay, itong Palestinian territory mga suki, no? Kung titingnan, kung makinig kayo sa kabila, okay, akala mo tapos na ang gera mga suki, no? Hindi po. Ayan. Hindi po. Kaya nga, okay, ang himpilan natin ay binabalanse natin ang balita, no? Okay. So yan. Sa mga galing po yan, pag itong mga nagbabalita, ito galing po sa mga independent, okay? Hindi po kumakampi kahit nino man. Yung mga magbabalita po ng magdala ng news na yan. Okay, nakaubos ako ng ilang minuto na isang oras, no? Isang oras at saka 20 minutos. So, dagdagan pa ba natin ang balita? Okay. Ayan po ang nangyayari po mga suki, no? Okay. So, at least alam nyo po ang situation po, ang current situation, latest. Ayan. Yan po sa area ng Bakbakan, no? Okay, isang balita lang mga suki, no? Okay, balitang PSE, Philippine Stock Exchange Index po ang ibalita na lang natin, no? Okay. Ayan. Sobra na po ang overtime natin, no? Okay. Puntahan natin ang balita ito, no? Okay, suotin natin ang salamin. Okay, magsama na po ang letra. Okay, Manila, Philippines, the Philippine Stock Market welcome the New Year on a high note with a big jump at the end of the first trading week. Of the benchmark, Philippine Stock Exchange Index close to at a 6,229 level. Haba, taas, no? Up by 2.78%, week on week, most counter jump as well, except for mining and oil. So, yung lahat sector po ay tumaas, except yung dalawa, no? Okay, mining. Ayan. So, bagsak ang mining at saka oil, mga suki, mga kababayan, no? Ayan. Then, nalugi na. Nalugi naman si Abdul Jaman. Okay, Abdul Jaman naman, nalugi naman. With this immediate support, this week is seen at a 6,500 with a resistance at a 6,700 to 6,750 last week. Okay, the average market turnover also saw a big leap, ending at a 4.30 billion pesos, up 11.6%. Okay, week on week, where net foreign buying was up by 206.31% to reach 343 million pesos. Okay, this was due to the confluence of the factors: primary December inflation, which is to 3.9% from November of 4.1%. Admittedly, this came stronger than expected given the seasonal demand and volatility related downside risk, said stock portal to tradeasia.com. Ayan po mga suki, no? Okay, continue natin ang karugtong ng balita ito, no? Ayan. Ayan. Okay, the outlook of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas remain conservative, but initial analysis of the trend does not support a return to the ideal 2 to 4% range by year-end to 3 days instead. Okay, against this backdrop, the market will be keeping a close watch on the U.S. inflation to be released this week. Okay, to 3 days ahead, global market participants are looking at a 2024 to 2025 through rose-tinted glasses. Ganun po mga suki, no? Ayan. So, yan po ang kasaysayan ng hanap buhay, okay, sa stock market po sa Pilipinas, no? Okay, kompleto natin ang balita ito. Ayan. Okay, Philstock Financial for its part agreed that the December inflation provided optimism to investors as they would expect that this trend would continue this year, potentially leading to international rate cut. Michael Ricaport of the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation said investors would continue to keep a close watch on upcoming Philippine economic data, mainly trade deficit, employment figures January 9, and money supply January 12. Yan po ang inaabangan ng mga Pilipino mga kababayan, no? Okay, in the US, investor would watch out for the trade deficit, consumer credit, and a jobless claim aside from the US inflation. Okay, the Philippine Stock Exchange, meanwhile, had already issued a statement on its January 3 glitch, saying it was caused by a connectivity problem, which is a mobile trading application and its process of authenticating all accounts. Ayan po. May magkaroon kasi glitch, no? Okay, na-stop ang trading po nung last week. And then yun pala ang problema po mga kababayan, no? Okay, yun po ang explanation, okay, ng Philippine Stock Exchange Index, no? Okay, wala namang ganong problema mga kababayan. Okay, so okay, tatapusin natin ang mahaba ng oras, no? Okay, 1 oras at saka 29 minutos po ang na-consume natin, no? Okay. Okay, ito na marinig nyo, no? So, yan po, kompleto ang balita natin sa umagang ito. Okay, siyempre, ayan po mga suki, mga kababayan, paalam tayo. Okay, sa programa natin, no? Okay, exit tayo. Okay, sa programa po ng Consolidated News po ng itong himpilan. Okay, ayan. Okay, dito po sa ADLSNTV Corporation, and then backup po ng Mind of Global Food Lines Corporation. Okay, doon po sa physical store po, meron na tayong plano. Okay, magtinda po ng mga processes stock, mga kababayan, no? Halal yan. Okay, para po sa Ramadan, kasi malapit ng Ramadan. Mag-prepare tayo. Okay, para may makain tayo ng halal na pagkain po sa mga producer po ng halal stock, mga kababayan, no? Okay, itong negosyo po ng Mind of Global Food Lines. Okay, hindi ninalis namin po ang online na pagtinda, no? Okay, bago sa dinagdagan pa. Okay, online store, hindi din binawasan. Okay, pero meron na physical store po ang Mind of Global Food Lines, mga kababayan, no? Okay, so yan po. So katulad ng sinabi ko, kung maniwala ka sa mga Western media ng iba, ay tapos na po ang labanan, no? Okay, sa Gaza. Pinapakita mga propaganda. Okay, pagpasok po sa mga mga tunnel, no, ng mga itong mga Hamas resistant, no? Yung mga 45 tunnel nila pinapakita po sa mga television, pero sa actual sa ground po ay diyan po ang nakaposto po mga defender. Okay? Defender po ng mga militants, mga kababayan, no? Okay, sa ngayon ang situation nakikita natin, pag-obserbahan mo sa itong mga IDF, okay, mga sundalo po ng Hamas, 5 division po mag-withdraw. Diyan po sa loob ng Gaza Strip, no? Ibig sabihin, hirap na hirap sila diyan po sa loob ng Gaza, no? And then pumunta po sa boundary po, okay, ng Northern Gaza, no? Okay, itong pagitan po ng Hezbollah at saka itong Israel territory, mga suki, no? So diyan po makadispatch ang mga sundalo po ng mga IDF. At saka dito po pagitan po ng Gaza at saka Israel border, mga suki, no? Okay. At saka ito meron sa mga Rapa, mga kababayan. Rapa border, no? Yung lagusan po, yung border po papasok sa Gaza, mga suki, no? So, ang pinokus po ng Israeli IDF, okay, mag-secure po ng kanilang border, mga suki, no? Takot sila. Okay, mapasok uli po ang Tel Aviv. Okay, takot sila, mga suki, no? Kasi baka sa kalaunan, pati command post po ng itong si Benjamin Netanyahu at itong si Yoav Galan makuha po ng mga Hamas militant mga suki, no? And then mayari sila. So yan po ang focus po ng kasalukuyan po ng Internal Defense Forces, okay, ng Israeli government mga suki, no? Karami yan. Kung totoo sinabi po ni Hamdan, Osama Hamdan, ibig sabihin po maraming rescue po sa mga international fighter papasok dyan ata, no? Okay? Sa loob po ng Gaza. Okay? Mas lalo na po yan pagpapasok ng Ramadan mga suki, no? Ayan. Pagpapasok ng Ramadan, ayan na po. Okay? Nakakatakot na, no? Kasi ang high level po ng mga iman ng fighter, no? Yung faith nila, okay, nakakatakot mga suki, no? Yan ang abangan natin po sa month of Ramadan. Kung wala pang truce yan, makikita mo po ang bakbakan yan na hindi na mapigilan mga suki, no? Ayan. Basta papasok na yan ng bulan ng month Ramadan. Ilang days na lang, no? Okay, mahigit 50 days na lang po mga kababayan ay Ramadan na. So, okay, mga fighter ito ay palagay ko mga ganun ang goal nila, no? Okay, nasa high level sila na makipagdigma po itong sa kalaban nila po mortal. Okay, itong Israeli forces mga kababayan, no? So, mag-end yan, matapos po ang labanan yan mga suki, no? Okay, mag-end yan, magtapos ang labanan kung walang peace talk, pati bansang Israel po makuha nila mga suki, no? Okay, yan po ang nakakatakot. Okay, kung walang kapayapaan, hindi na papayag ang Amerika, hindi na papayag ang Israel, yung mga supporter po ng Israeli, yung mga financier nila, maaari po ganun po ang situation niyan, no? Okay, sa aking puso lang, no? Okay? Ay mataas po ang level po ng fighting spirit po ng itong mga Hamas militant, no? Okay, mataas. Ayan. Can you imagine, magtatlong buwan na? Sobrang tatlong buwan, wala pang reklamo sa atin, no? Okay, kung saan-saan po manggaling. Ayan. Okay, so tapusin natin ang balita. Babalik tayo ng mamayang hapon. Okay, wala pong kinikilingan, wala po pinapanigan ng balita. Natin po araw-gabi po mga suki, no? Okay, wala tayong masamang tinapay sa kapwa. Mag-release tayo ng balita po para sa serbisyo publiko tinig ng mamamayan, no? Okay, wala tayong pinapanigan po. Ayan. Okay, hindi tayo kampi sa Israeli government, hindi tayo kampi rin sa Hamas, kasi ang motive po ay mga violence. Alam nyo naman na tayo ay anti-violence mga kababayan, no? Ayaw natin ng buhay natin dito sa mundo ay maging violente po mga suki, no? Gusto natin din ang kapayapaan. Pero hindi makinig po ang taong daigdig. Okay, kung gumawa pa rin ng mga kaguluhan po sa daigdig mga suki. Because meron po mga interest, okay? Diyan po nakatouch sa problema na yan, no? Katulad yan na sinasabi po ng mga magagaling, no? Yung interest po ng maraming deposito, okay, ng langis po diyan po sa Gaza Strip mga suki, no? Okay, gusto po angkinin po ng mapangahas, nakakatakot. Okay, itong si Benjamin Netanyahu mga kababayan, no? Sa kanyang extreme. Okay, sobra extreme po. Okay, modern na itong si Benjamin Netanyahu at saka mga war cabinet niya, no? Okay, makatakot, mapangahas. Ayan po ang kanyang pulisya, no? So, Yan po ay dapat alalahanin natin ang paliwanag po ni President ng Turkey, itong si Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Ang mga problema ito papasok po sa inyong tahanan. Ayan. Papasok po inyong tahanan, kaya nga kailangan protektahan natin ang tahanan, no? Mga pamilya natin, protektahan natin. Kasi yan po ang objective ng extremist. Basta sabi ng extremist, itong pamahalaan po ni Benjamin Netanyahu, no? Ayan. So parehas tayo mag-ingat, no? Okay? Ako mag-ingat, kayo mag-ingat, lahat mag-ingat mga suki, mga kababayan. Okay, para hindi mapasok ang inyong tahanan. Okay. Yan at ang Dajjal, mga suki, no? Malapit ng Dajjal. Ayan. Okay, paalam tayo. Wala tayong masamang tinapad. This has been Abs na mahal po lamang. Okay, sa babalik po ng mamayang hapon, no? Okay. Baka yan ang Dajjal po malapit na, no? Sabi po ng mga Shia, okay, baka Imam Mahdi ay malapit na rin. Ayan. And after that, wala na tayo lahat, mga suki, no? Kasi magunaw ng daigdig, wala na tayo. Okay? Pagdating na ni Prophet Jesus Christ, Isa alayhisalam, magbalita na siya ay hindi Panginoon. Okay, na tapos na po ang mundo. After how many decades ay tapos na? Wala na tayo lahat, mga suki, no? Ayan. Wala na. Todas na lahat. Kahit pa gaano na kaganda ng bahay mo rito sa mundo, kayamanan mo, karangyaan mo rito sa mundo, wala na. Kasi dinurog na po ng Allah Subhanahu ang daigdig. Okay, katapusan ng daigdig. Ganun po ang chronological evidence. Okay, binigay ng passage of time. Okay, binigay po ng Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Ang mundo po ay gaano man kahalaga, may katapusan, mga suki, na. Okay, so tayo ay dapat po maniwala doon, lalo na po tayo agama Islam. Perfect yun, mga suki, ang passage of time, na. Hindi magkamali. Ang binilin po ng Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, na. Ayan. Okay, wala na. Ang pamahalaan pa ni Propeta Muhammad, okay, yung purest Islamic system, wala na. Ang mga sumunod sa kanya, yung mga nila Abu Bakar, nila Usman, okay, nila Ali, nila Omar, wala na. Yun mga leader po ng mga panahon yun, no? Okay. And then itong sumunod na leader after itong mga sidekick ng Propeta Muhammad, yung apat, wala na. And then itong mga tinatawag na monarchical, no? Sinabi po ng Propeta, sinabi ito yung mga pinaka-corrupt, okay, itong mga monarchical system of government, no? So ito ay nag-exist sa atin, mga kababayan, no? Ayan. Mapandaya, mapanloko, itong mga monarchical system of government. Yung mga king, mga sultan yan, mga kababayan. And then the last, babalik tayo po sa dati. Okay, pagdating po ng propeta, magsabi na hindi siya Diyos, hindi siya God. Itong si Propeta Jesus, mga kababayan, no? Sa Jesus sa Christianity. Sa tayo, Isa alayhisalam, no? Magbalita sila, ganun. And then, una pa, no? Una si Dajjal, yung Antichrist, okay, papasok sa atin. And then marami makumbinsi. And then may kalaban siya. Yun po, nakakuha sa kanya, no? Mag-ikot sa buong daigdig, nagbabalita. So maraming makuha tao, no? Itong isang mata lang si Dajjal. And then, talo ito sa labanan. Okay. Sino bang nakatalo sa kanya? Okay, grupo ni Prophet Isa, mga suki, mga kababayan. And then, mamuno po itong last portion na po ng buhay natin sa daigdig. Okay, itong mga grupo ito, babalik po sa dating gawain po ng Propeta Muhammad, peace be upon him, no? Okay. And then, after mga how many decades, wala na. Magunaw na po ang daigdig. Iwanan na po ng lahat ng karangyaan dito sa daigdig. Wala na po. Tapos na. So, yon po ang buhay natin po. Okay, cycle ng chronicle passage ng buhay po sa mundo, mga kababayan. No? Ako maniwala ko, dahil paniwala ko ay isa akong Muslim, ang agama ko Islam, tama po yung mga passage yan, mga suki, no? Okay? Yung mga kabila hindi yan maniwala, okay, binaliwala niya. Pero tayo mga Muslim, maniwala tayo sa passage, no? From Prophet Muhammad to Halifa leadership, and then itong mga, okay, mga system ng monarchical, okay, sabi, very corrupt. And then, okay, pagdating ni Dajjal, and then Imam Mahdi, sabi ng mga sa mga Shia, and then si Prophet Jesus Christ, mga kababayan, okay, nagbalita na hindi siya Diyos. Okay, hindi siya Panginoon. So, yan. And then, tapos na po ang daigdig, no? Ayan. Hindi yung prediction. Passage, messages, okay, iniwanan po ng Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, no? Ayan. Hindi yung panghula. Okay, mga suki, mga kababayan, tapos na ang balita natin. Okay. Kaya dapat maraming dasal natin ngayon, na. Okay, kunting kwan na lang. Okay, kunting buhay na lang. Paramihin po natin ng amal ibadat natin, na. Okay, para papunta sa lupa, maluwang po ang libigan natin, no? May mga aircon, okay, may mga light, okay, pagdating natin sa libingan, no? Okay, yun po ang pinaka-importante, no? And pagdating ng Hari Kiamat, pupunta na tayo sa Parang Mahsyar, dadaan tayo ng bridge ng Taytayan, Sirat al-Mustaqim, no? Okay, kung hindi ka ipatawad, maahit po yung daanan mo, no? Meron naman mga dumaan dyan, pagkapang-gapang, parang uod. Okay. And then sa ilalim po doon ng sa sirat na yan, apoy po lumalagablab, mga suki, mga kababayan, no? Na kung halimbawa yung ahit ng matulis na kris ang daanan mo, wala na, hulog ka na. Okay, hulog talaga. Kaya nga, okay, dapat po maraming kabutihan ginawa natin dito sa daigdig, no? Katakot yon. Doon lang sa sirat, and then lumalagablab po ang apoy galing sa impyerno. Wala na. Pagdahan mo lang, hulog lahat. Hulog. Kaya maraming po laman ng impyerno, no? Ayan. So, yun ang dapat po alalahanin natin sa ating kokote, mga suki, no? Sa ating puso, sa ating spirit, lagi natin alalahan Sirat al-Mustaqim. Okay? Bridge yun. At saka doon sa Parang Mahsyar, kung hindi ka patawarin ng Allah okay? Ng Allah Ta'ala, ang araw po, mga suki, mga isang dangkal na lang. Isang ganun lang. Nako, wala. Sunog ka na, mga suki, no? Tapos, wala ka pa raw damit doon sa pagkuhan yun na pag-check po doon sa Parang Mahsyar, no? And then, kung ikaw napunta sa impyerno, tapon lang. Kung mapunta ka sa surga, okay, dahan-dahan ka po, mga suki, pumasok doon. Special entry po, mga kababayan, no? Kaya dalawang path, okay, to hell at saka to heaven, mga kababayan. No? Ayan. Wala ka na. Tapos na po ang istorya. Okay, paalam ako mga suki. This has been Abs Damahan lamang po. Okay, sa umaga ito, no? Dapat tayo ay matakot po sa kapangyarihan ng Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no? Hindi tayo maka-escape. Sigurado po mga kababayan, hindi tayo maka-escape. Ayan. Ayan. So, yan po mahalaga sa ending ng life natin to. Makasurvive tayo sa libingan, makasurvive tayo ng Sirat al-Mustaqim, makadaan doon ng matulin parang kidlat. Eh, kahit ako, kahit parang ano na lang, no? Kahit parang kotse na lang, okay na lang mga suki, no? At least swabe dumaan po doon sa sa Sirat al-Mustaqim, no? And then, pag doon ka sa parang master, meron na payong ka dahil po sa amal mo. Ayan. Malapit ng puasa, talagang dapat malakas ang pag-amal natin sa fasting, no? Okay. Okay, nakapalam na ko, no? This has been Abs Damahan lamang po, no? Babay na. Kaya nga, ang Abdur Damahan hindi po ignorante sa kanyang agama, mga suki, no? Sinasabihan ako hindi raw ako Muslim. Ayan, mga suki, no? So, masakit para sa akin, okay, na hindi raw ako Muslim, mga kababayan, no? Ayan. Ano ako? Pag hindi Muslim. Okay, mga kababayan, mga suki, no? Babay na. Okay, hindi naman ko ateis. Magsambahayang man ako, magpuasa ako, magjakat, maghadji. Na hindi naman akong ibig sabihin na hindi naman na ako belong po sa ganon. Ayan. Maniwala sa Quran at sa Hadith. Ayan. So, hindi ako tinuturing na ganon po, mga suki, no? Ayan. Hindi naman ko anti-religion. Okay. So, ano ako? Yan pong katanungan ko. Kawawa po si Abdul Jaman Damahan, no? Okay, hinusugahan na. Okay, na hindi ako Muslim, mga kababayan, na. Astagfirullah. 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 Excuse me.